take charge of our own selves, our own minds, our own soul. We have to be the ones that
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing fine today.
Listen, guys, this is live, and sometimes we get our giggle on, and I know our producer lady, our camera lady, she's like sucking her teeth at us. But anyway, this is just who you get. What you see is what you get. Good morning, and thank you all for supporting Gospel in the Real.
Yeah.
My name is Tasheekia Perry, and I am the founder of Crowning Daughters for Success Enrichment Program.
And I'm Pastor Patricia Bryan. I'm the pastor of Nazareth Church of God in Cape Coral. And I welcome you to watching Gospel in the Real with us today. I hope that this will continue to bless those of you that are watching. I've heard testimonies on this week of a mother whose daughter was murdered. And she said she wished she had seen this program before, so she could have, imparted some of this that we're talking about to her daughter. Well, it might have been late for her, but there are many more of you out there who are in need of this help, and we're here to do just that. So we welcome you again, Minister.
Yes. You know, my heart is broken because this isn't a testimony of a mom whose daughter was murdered a year ago. This is a testimony of a mother whose daughter was murdered by someone who may have previously abused her and has taken this young lady's life, has taken this mother's daughter's life. And I'm sure there were red flags, but we so try to find the good, all the good we can find in people. We reach and we pull and we struggle to find it because we are allowing people to fill pockets that only Jesus can fill.
Yes.
And so we put them in a wrong place. They've shown us they're not worthy.
Yes.
They've proven themselves not to be worthy. And it takes someone to die, and for us to be in front of this camera warning time after time. You do not have to settle. You do not have to deal. You do not have to embrace abuse.
No, you don't. Abuse is something that, it covers so many things in so many areas. Abuse can simply be someone just using you, but there's always the red flag. And as women, again I say, we have this gut feeling. We know when something doesn't feel right, and we tend to settle, and many times settle and continue in that place, and then it becomes too late. I'm so sorry to hear about this young lady. And Mother, if you're watching, I'm just praying that the Lord will be with you and continue to bless you and hold you up and give you the strength to continue. It is sad.
It is so sad.
It is sad because I kind of have a feeling that she knew this guy wasn't. It doesn't just come on suddenly. Sometimes just as you meet them, you notice they're kind of rough and they want to manipulate you and order you around. And our young women and some grown women think that's love.
They think it's love. They think it's a natural personality trait to have. There is nothing natural, godly about manipulation, control, pride, anger. There's nothing godly about that.
Nothing. Your relationship should be in peace. Do we have times when we have disagreements? Yes, but we ought to be able, as Christians, to settle it peaceably. I can have a difference of opinion from my husband, but my husband's opinion matters to him. I have to be able to say, okay, that's your opinion, this is how I see it, but we can agree to agree.
Absolutely.
We don't have to end up killing each other.
Right.
And if you're with anyone, male or female, vice versa, and that's the order of your relationship, that's not a good relationship.
No.
God wants us to love each other. And if can you imagine if God loved us like that?
No.
No.
He wouldn't even be God.
He wouldn't be God. He would be one of us. And if we can just think about the love of Jesus and how he has loved us in no matter what state we're in. And we can't get a little bit of that kind of love from our partners, then what's the purpose?
Something is really wrong
Something
with that.
is wrong.
Something is so wrong with that. And if you are watching, let what we just stated about this young girl be your warning.
Yes.
You don't have to have a black eye as a warning. You don't have to have scratches and bruises that you're hiding from family members and friends to be a warning. You don't have to be jacked up and pushed down and talked down to for that to be your warning. Just as Pastor Brian stated, there is a gut feeling that we get as women that something is not right. Let that be your warning. Let that be your sign to say, you know what, we need to part our ways. This is not working. Because when you sow into ungodly, when you sow into abusive relationships, destruction is waiting in the end.
Yes, because it only increases. You know, can God change a person? Yes, he can. And that's another mentality. Well, he'll change. God can change. But if a person has been steeped in anger or all their lives, it takes a job. It takes a process of deliverance to get over that. Absolutely. Now, I have come in contact with you. You're not yet delivered. And you and I become partners. You're going to try to work it out on me.
Absolutely.
And the minute I say something you don't like or do something you don't like, out comes that anger, out comes the whether it's physical or verbal, mentally, spiritually, it's crippling you.
Yes, it is.
It's making you less than you are supposed to be in the eyes of God and others that might need you so much. You know, when I think about this young girl and her mom, here she's gone. This boy is in prison, I hope, and the mother is grieving terribly. You know, it might have been something that could have been avoided completely.
Listen, I've heard it. It's been in my family line. When we condone, because you are condoning it when you allow it. Our hearts go out to you, and this is no judgment. This is just clear understanding. When you allow someone to treat you less than God would treat you. When you allow someone to love you less than God would love you. When you allow someone to push on you their ideas, their opinions, and they don't want you to have a voice, you are condoning that behavior. And when we condone that behavior and then in the end say 2 months later, 6 months later, 5 years later, I deserve something better. I think we need to part our ways. That is when that person becomes very angry. And that is when that person becomes very attached to you. And that's when we have these news stories of he killed the woman, himself, and the children.
Yes, that's what's happened. And now they're really, you know, because think about it. Now you've really broken their hearts. Because these persons, they get attached. They get attached, and you become their source somewhat, you know, for anger. I've heard this said, I love you because you're like my punching board. I can hit on you.
And be forgiven. Time after time after time. Come on back. I know you'll change. I think you'll change.
My father once told me years ago when I was a teenager and I was in a similar situation, he said a leopard never changes spot. And when he said it to me, I looked at him because I didn't understand all of that then. But a leopard never changes spot. So you have to know whether you're going to stay in this and allow this person to abuse you or back away. Can they change? I would pray that somewhere down the line these people would find God. Because when your soul is really steeped in the Lord, guess what? Your mindset changes.
Absolutely.
If your mindset change and you understand the role of the man and the woman and what you're supposed to do, guess what? Somewhere down the line, if things have changed and I see you maybe years later, a year or two or whatever, and you are this man of God that would not want to treat me in that manner, then I would look at you. But until then, I think you should keep on walking.
You have to keep on walking. And you know something? Another thing that I get a lot from women is I've invested all of my time. I've spent years with this man. I've worked 2 jobs, or I've done this, and I've invested in that. I'm not going to see him treat somebody else better. Let me tell you something. If your life is at stake, I would rather see him treat someone else better and be alive.
Amen.
Because once a man has lost a certain level of respect for you, more than likely he will never respect you again, because you've allowed him to walk over you. You've allowed him to disrespect you to the utmost. You've allowed him to do certain things to you that you should have stopped in the beginning. That next person may hold a higher standard and he may change, but I'll take that chance on him changing with somebody else, and I'll go on.
Yes. I would take that chance.
I'll go on peacefully.
I'd rather that, you know. It's okay, maybe it didn't work for us. I've invested some time, but I'm alive.
Thank you.
I'm alive. And since I'm alive, I can move on. You know, we can see each other down the road later on and move on to it. So we don't have to endure abuse. We don't have to allow anyone to destroy our souls or who we are. Whether, again, I said it's a rape, male or female. Because I've heard that there are some young men that are watching this and they're interested in, because it's helping them to deal with their woman in the future or at present and things in their own lives. But you do not have to have anyone abuse you. You are God's pearl, diamond. He loves you. And he wants to help you and lift you up out of that place where you're feeling destroyed, desolate, lonely. You just don't feel or are yourself any longer because of this experience. But I want you to know this morning that there is a God that can turn all things around, and he is a God that can replace anything and anyone in your life and give you the peace you need.
Somebody needed to hear that this morning. Because you are blaming yourself, and we went over those little things on the last segment, that you are not the blame. You are not the blame. I don't care if you walk down the street with a bikini on. Yes, it takes your risk a little higher than the average person that walks around fully dressed, but no one has the right to violate you and get away with it. No one has the right to touch you. No one has the right to impose themselves on you without your permission. So we're gonna rebuke and we're gonna destroy all of the blame. But what we want you to know, because someone is sitting in a place and saying, this has already happened, I've already gone through it, what do I do now? I say forgive. Forgiveness is the key. Forgiveness is, there is so much power when we forgive, because we release that person into God's hands, and whatever God sees fit for that person, it is God that has to make that decision. But if you really want to go on with your life, and you really want to move forward, and you really want to allow these things to shake off you and break off you,
get rid of your shackles. They're shackles.
Yes.
Because they hold you in bondage. They're shackles. So you have to get rid of the shackles.
Get rid of it.
And the only way to do that is to forgive that person. Because when they're released out of your mind, out of your heart, your spirit becomes free. You become you. You are alive. And everything comes back to you. So you have to know that I have to release that person. I have to let them go. I was speaking with a young lady on this weekend as we go on with this. And young girls, some of you are watching, and I hope that you are, and that this is really helping you, because it's our desire to help others with our own experience and women that we've spoken to.
Absolutely.
And she said a young man came up to her and he said, "Are you still a virgin?" And she said, "Yes." And he said, "Why?" I said, "Why?" He said, "Yes, why?" She said, "Because I want to be a virgin. I'm holding back until I meet the right person and my husband." And, you know, she tells him the story she was trained to tell. And she believes. And he said, "Well, you don't need to hold on to that. It's nothing special anyway." I said, "Oh, really? It's nothing special?" I said, the story that you've been told, remember to tell him. It mightn't be special to him. Because it's not his life that's being ruined, it's yours. But your body is special to you. And it is your choice to keep it special for the special person in your life. So young ladies,
wow.
when a young man has the gall, I said, has the gall to walk up to you and ask you a question like that, or try to get you to go into bed with him just because he wants to satisfy his little desire, and then go off and tell the other boys that he had his desire satisfied by you, and tried the rest for them to come and everybody. And sometimes that leads to rape, because one boy tells and you might resist. They go, they gang, and next thing you know, everybody, and there goes another case of rape or abuse. So I had to tell her, stand your ground. I remember that topic. Stand your ground.
Yes.
Don't quit, and don't give in to what somebody tells you about yourself. Because to say
it's nothing
special, I thought, wow.
If it wasn't anything special,
why would you want it?
Thank you. Why would you try to convince me?
Yeah.
And it is indeed something special, because once you give that away, you can never get it back. That's what makes it so special and so dear, because your body is a temple of God. You know what? A guy that I know was giving some tips how women can protect themselves. And because if you give the enemy 1 inch, the Bible tells us, don't give place to the devil. Don't give a crack. Don't give a peephole to the devil. So you women that are dating, don't invite men to your home.
Don't be in lonely places. This is some of the things I told her. I said, don't be in a place where you can be backed up by yourself.
Right.
Stay with the crowd.
Stay with the crowd.
Stay where there's people that you're protected. Because they can't attack you if you're in a group of people that you're. But if you go, come over here, I want to talk to you. No, you stay right here.
Absolutely.
And talk to me. Because anything you can say to me over there, you can say to me right here.
Absolutely. I mean, it's
protection.
He said it. He said, there are many women that feel I'm grown and I can do whatever I want to do, and I don't want groups of people hanging out as my accountability. That's fine. But go to public places where if this man touch you or present himself in a negative or manner that you feel is disrespectful, you can scream, ah, help! Okay, if you're down by the lakeside, the ducks cannot save you, baby. All right? The fish can't jump out the water to save you. You're putting yourself in a position because you're making him feel this is what she wants.
Yes.
If it wasn't what she wants, why is she in my hotel room 3 o'clock in the morning?
Why is she in the back of my car?
Why is she in the back of my car in the dark with me? Why is she letting me stick my tongue down her throat and my hand down her shirt? And then in the midst of us getting all heated and hot, you want me to stop. Okay, no one has a right to violate you, even to nothing on. If you say no, that person should respect it. But do they respect it?
No.
9 times out of 10, no. So we cannot give the devil space to work his little tricks, because we are in compromised situations.
We have to shun the devil.
We have to shun.
We have to stay away from the dangerous situations. We have to take charge of our own selves, our own minds, our own souls. We have to be the ones that the Lord promises to guide us. He promises to protect us. But He's not going to step down out of heaven if you put yourself in the wrong place and say, save me now. You've got to be the one that walks according to what the Lord God says. And as you do that, you will find protection.
Absolutely.
He will send help in the time of need. Can there be a moment when you didn't plan to be in that place, but you're backed up in that place? Guess what? That's the time when God can send help.
Absolutely.
Because you had no plan to be there, but someone decided they were waiting for you in that place.
Yes.
And here you are confronted and in danger of rape or whatever it might be. But God can send help then. That's when you said, the Bible said, call on the Lord. Call on the Lord.
Absolutely.
So then you can call on Him for help. And if you are His child, guess what? Help will come.
Oh, help is definitely
help will come.
I have a question for you, because we're tying in rape and abuse. What do you, because the boys that I work with, the students that I work with, they call some girls teasers. But Miss Tasheekia, you don't understand. She's a teaser. I want to encourage you young girls and you young women. I listened to a couple of top 10 songs before I preached a message yesterday, Sold Out, Denied Access. And the message that these songs are sending, the Nicki Minaj and the song that she has with, I don't know if it's Trey Songz or whoever, but it's Touch Me. And she's saying how she will have oral sex and how she will allow a man to ejaculate in her mouth and how she'll toot it up and boot it up and how the different things that she'll do. Now, these are things that our young girls from elementary school to womanhood, they're trying to mimic this behavior because someone fabulous and popular, because they're singing this song throughout our country, throughout social media, throughout regular media. They're singing, this is what I'm going to do to you and this is what I'm going to let you do to me. And so these women, they feel like if they're not mimicking this type of porn behavior, that they're less than, that the man will not want them. Let me tell you something now, a real man would not want that.
Amen. Amen.
Not a real one.
A real man won't.
Not a real one.
A real man won't. He wants his woman to be special. There is where they want special. Right there. So when the young man said that wasn't special, I said a couple of years later he's going to see you and think how special you were because he was never able to get you in a compromise. And yes, unfortunately, our music industry, it's terrible. I mean, in my era, there were love songs. It made you swoon and so on, you know. But these songs they're singing, some of them, I'm like, oh,
well, they're the songs that make these young girls take selfies of their breasts and their private areas because and text these little boys and they feel like they're not going to show their friends. Baby, they're going to show their friends. As soon as you text them, kick them, Facebook them, your little tits, your little booty, your little bra and panties and all that you should be covered up, I guarantee you they're going to show it to somebody else. Think higher of yourself.
Yes, that's it. Because of the music industry, because they have all this thing, it's what you're feeding your soul. And so it becomes, it's almost like a brainwashing. And it is. Brainwashing. And you think, I have to do this, I have to be this, to be like Nikki, to be like all the other people that, you know, you see on TV. Well, no. You don't have to be. And that takes away all of your own self-respect. You have no self-respect left when you do all of that. First of all, why would I want to take a selfie of my private parts and put them on the Facebook or whatever for everybody to see? You know, why would I want to do that? That's my own private, personal self. I have to love myself. So our young people are doing all of this because, you know what, they're not loving themselves.
You hit it.
They're not loving themselves. They have to love themselves. If you love yourself, you will value yourself. You will value who God has made you to be. Your private parts will be for the special person who you want to surprise with your gifts.
All right.
You don't want everybody to see what your gifts are because it would be no surprise.
It would be no surprise.
It would be, God knows what he's talking about. You know, and a real man, like he says, he wants his woman to be special. He don't want to know that everybody saw her tits and her booty and all her stuff on Twitter. And
it's the truth.
It's the truth. They don't.
Parents, this is a sidebar. Go through your children's iPod. Go through their Facebook. Go through their Kick. Go through their phone. See what friends they have. It is our responsibility as parents to put a demand on our young girls and say, this is who you will be. This is who God created you to be. But if they see you tooted and booted and twerking and working all on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram, they no longer have to worry about the media influencing them. You're going to be the greatest influence in their lives. Go through these things and show them the difference between a woman and a young lady. You're born women.
Yeah.
You're born females.
Yes.
The body parts, display, and the characteristics display. But it is a choice to be a young lady. It is value, just as Pastor Brian says, to be a young lady. It comes with dignity and respect for yourself and others if you choose to be a young lady. Or you can mingle amongst the female and just be one of them.
And just be one of them. And you don't have to be one of them. You can be that special pearl. It is your choice. You have a choice in your life. Things don't just happen. It's what choices you make. If you make the right choices, you will have the right results. So I would say make the right choices to have the right results.
This has been awesome. And I know we kind of slid off a little bit, but I think it all ties into abuse.
Yes.
It all ties into being broken and hurting and overcoming certain things that someone else has inflicted on you. Not putting yourself in that position. Take care of yourself. Guard yourself. Respect yourself. Say no. No means no, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's pretty. She's fine. But no means no.
And she might have been teasing you, but if she says no, no it is. And let it be that way. You never know what might happen later on down the road. She might just be the woman for your life. So you treat her with love.
This has been Gospel in the Real.
See you next time.